3 miles out in the country. April 14th, 1923, and I have attended organic school from kindergarten through graduation. I graduated in 1941. After 1941, I went to work at Brooklyn for a couple of years, then I went into service in 43 and got out in 45, and then attended Auburn and graduated from there in 1949. And my life in schooling here in organic school, I think was very beneficial, mainly due to the fact that it was a free and easy life. You weren't under pressure to get anything done. You weren't pressured to exceed somebody else. And the curriculum that they had, we had all our basic schooling, the histories and the sciences and the math and geography. And one thing I've noticed now about the children, they do not have the geography that we did. They would give us a blank map of the states in Europe, and it was up to us to put in the names of the states and locate the capitals of each state and know the population of the capitals of each state. And in Europe, it was just to locate the country and know the capital of each country. You ask children nowadays about that, and they have no concept of it. Some of them can't even locate the states and the capitals in the country now. And the schooling I got here, I think, prepared me for a life, as I said, because it wasn't any under pressure, and I never had the feeling that, well, I couldn't succeed at anything. There was no thought of failure when I got out taking courses in the Navy or at Auburn. We just assumed that when you took a course, you were going to go ahead and do your best and pass it without worrying about the grades. Of course, you always thought about the grades, especially in the universities when you got out in that school system. But it never really concerned me, because I was always did the best I could in the lower grades and in high school, and it just carried me through life. And I think in a lot of ways, that prepared me for, I don't want to say the rigors of life, but that's what it really boils down to. But it's the, I hate to keep repeating myself, but it is the freedom that you grow up under. And I've learned a lot in the school, the arts and crafts and the science. And it was required courses in addition to your ordinary school classes. Your geography and your math and your science, you had your arts and crafts, your woodworking, your silver work, your pottery work. You also had folk dancing, and all that was scheduled into your school day and your school year. One of the things I do remember was that in science, Mrs. Edwards used to bring frogs and snakes and different animals to school. And I remember that she'd bring these snakes, and we'd play with them and drape them around our neck. And I guess that's one of the reasons to this day I'm not afraid of snakes. I respect the snakes, the moccasins and the rattlesnakes and all, but I'm not afraid of them like a lot of other people are. And it was just a wonderful experience going through school, learning all these aspects of life. But the people nowadays, when they go through school, they don't have the advantages or the opportunity to engage in these arts and crafts that we did and learn the science that we did. I guess mainly because the world has progressed so much and things are going so fast, and people just don't seem to have time to get engaged in things like that. They've always got some other classes or programs to get involved with. But there is a lot of advantage to the new systems now. They have got computers, and they advanced in math more than we ever had in high school. The highest I went was trigonometry in school. Now they get into calculus, another higher math, which is an advantage. But overall, I think the schooling I had here was very beneficial, and I enjoyed every minute of it. I can't remember a lot of names of the teachers, but all the teachers I had, I considered very good. Maybe one that I could think of the most is Mr. Armagast, who was our math teacher at that time. And I think I learned fairly well under him because of his manner of teaching and his approach to it. He wasn't pressured. He explained it to you in a way you could. And there's Mr. Nichols and the sciences we had. As I said, there's a lot of them that I can't really recall their names. I do remember Mr. Paul Fredericks teaching us folk dancing, and that was a very interesting, I'd say, program. He was a very good instructor. He was a very firm instructor, and he knew it. And he made us perform to our capability, which, as I look back on it now, was very good. And we went to a folk dance festival in Washington, D.C. that was put on, I think, for people all throughout the world attended it. And I had a very good relationship, understanding of the people of various countries. Because just being a little old country boy, that's the first time I'd really been out of the Fairhope area other than the Mobile, be a big city like that, and it was made a big impression on me. Since then, I've been around some other places, but that was my first really experience out of a small town in the big city. And I think it was very beneficial. You got any questions, Dot? I can.
We want you to show Bill some of this.
Oh yes, yes.
These lovely artifacts that you brought to us.
Here's
that you made while you were in school.
Here's a watch fob I made in school in 1937. And I don't know whether you can see this or not, but this is another little watch fob made out of copper with my father's initials and name on it.
If you can hold that up, Bill, a little once the camera gets it.
Well, I'll get it here. I don't know whether that can.
It's beautiful work.
Try it, see. And then here's a little match holder that I made, and I think it was First Life, I'm not sure, but I thought that was a wonderful work of art when I made it. But now I look back on it, I said, well, I guess that was pretty good for my age. And this is a basket I think my mother made. I don't know when it was, but I can remember sitting around the table at home making straw mats for hot plates. And I have forgotten the technique of how to make these, but I'm going to find somebody that can teach me, because I want to make some bowls like this and some hot plate mats to have, because they last forever. The hot plate mats Mother had, I think, must have been 40 years old at least, and they were almost as good as the day that we made them. And it's not difficult. You can make I'd say a hot plate mat in about 30 minutes when you really, get everything set up to it. And that's about what it takes, Dot, somewhere along in there to make the bigger one. That's just going to take more. But these were some of the things that we learned in the organic school here that people in other schools just do not have an opportunity to make. And when you go to various places around the world, around the country, you see things that various people make, and you can appreciate the effort that went into making these. I've made several trips to the Far East out of the Pacific area, and the Oriental people out in that area do wonderful work, and you can appreciate what goes into it, other than just looking at it and say that's a piece of artwork or sculpture or whatever.
And Bill, the wonderful part of that particular craft, pine needles here in our area are beautiful and plentiful, and all you need is the raffium, a large-eyed needle, and your pine needle. And there you
learning to